So we're late to the party because yeah, that guy. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Chum Zone. We're not necessarily gonna do a review, but we are gonna talk about everything that we liked. I love this kid. Let's just jump right into it. I love the way the movie just pops into motion. Knuckles is just doing his thing. Eggman is doing his thing. They meet up, they have their discussion, and Sonic movie 2.
Yeah, because actually I want to agree with you because the pacing was really good. They literally, like, there's no build up or dialogue and there's no waste of time. They just get right into it with the mushroom planet. And then right after that, you know, after we see that scene, it goes straight to Sonic. You know, I really enjoyed the pacing, although I've seen people complain about it.
It's interesting. Next one, Blue Justice.
I actually want to talk about that entire scene because from the beginning, like when they show the Seattle intro and they bring in the chill lo-fi, chill hop, whatever it is,
that was
I
love.
loved that.
That was love. Matter of fact, I'll put that in the likes. I love the culture.
Oh yeah.
Black culture.
There was a sweet nod to black culture in this movie. Like all of the pop culture songs that they use, except the one that Eggman rocked out to at the end of the film. All of them were like black.
All of them
were like 90s, maybe early 2000s. Like there was a reggae song by Ini Kamoze, I think that's his name. There was the Ice Cube song that when Wade was just rolling down the street. I'm like, what?
What is happening?
You know, so it's like kudos to them. I dig that.
They did their digging, and I dig that.
Bruno Mars in the dance-off scene,
absolutely.
Like hell yeah.
So if you're gonna keep it like that, keep it like that.
So one of the things I liked was so I like the comedic aspect of this film. I think it's very wacky 90s-esque. But I also want to get into a specific scene. Like, I really, really liked when Tom and Maddie left Sonic home alone, and he tears the house up.
Apart.
I just love that. Again, that's when they play the reggae song "Hot Steppers" by Ini, and I love it. I love that he tore up the house. I love that he was playing in the bubble bath and
his skateboard.
Yeah.
He was
and
going
apparently
through
in that scene, like there's a Dreamcast somewhere on the shelves. I can never see it because you'd have to watch
that like 3 more times.
You have to like go frame by frame to find it. I still haven't seen it. I don't even know how other people saw it. It's like, how did you see that?
Like, I understand that what they're going for. When people go in, they go to see it the first time, but the second time they go to see those Easter eggs.
Yeah,
which is fair.
Well, I mean, we saw it 2 times, and I still didn't see it. We're probably not going to see it until it's either streaming or on DVD.
One of the things I liked, you could predict. You can predict certain things that were happening throughout the video or / movie. You assume things were going to happen in the trailers, but then it does a complete 180, and it's something completely different, so it throws you off. Now, I do like that, but at the same time, it can be...
Well, I'm gonna save that for my dislikes, but
it could be a dislike when we get to that.
Okay, so another thing I like, I love Knuckles the Echidna. I think that, well, actually, I want to actually go back to Tails too. I love what they did with Tails, but Knuckles is my favorite, so I just
geeks out over Knuckles. Knuckles
is my boy. You guys don't understand. Like, the whole reason I even stayed with the series this long was because of Knuckles. So seeing him...
But we understand the importance of Knuckles.
Well, yes, and I do believe they brought that importance back, but not like, you know, doing a carbon copy of the games, but, you know, bringing his importance back in the movie way. I just wish that importance would come back in the games because, you know, it's like the movie's kind of like not canon. I don't know what Sega's doing with it. I'm pretty sure they're using it to reboot the series.
Knuckles isn't stupid. He's far from stupid.
Well,
He's
Knuckles. Here's the thing
he's
about
just
Knuckles.
ignorant, self-aware.
Because here's the thing about his ignorance. It's not that he's stupid or even really ignorant. It's that he's uncultured because he didn't grow up on Earth. So he doesn't know anything about baseball. That's an earthly hobby. He doesn't know anything about ice cream. That also an earthly food. You know, he doesn't know anything. He knows what grapes are because I guess they grow on his home planet. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't know anything outside of what his culture is and what happened in his tribe. Not to mention his entire tribe died when he was like 8 years old. So he grew up by himself. Like he's now a teenager. He's raising himself. We don't know anything about his mom. He says that I'm the last one left. So all the women, I guess, in his tribe died, and the men died in the fight against Longclaw. So, you know, he grew up by himself. He has no culture, no knowledge of anything beyond his planet or his tribe. So he's definitely not stupid. And I wish people would say that actually because, you know, I don't know. It's just mean. It's mean. Don't be mean to my boy. Okay?
I like it.
But I also love. I could go on about Knuckles all day. I'm not going to because we got to get to the rest of the film. But I love how fierce he is. And do not cross him. Do not betray him. But when you are his friend, he is a cinnamon roll. He is so sweet and
at
cute.
The end of the movie,
he's like, I want ice cream. He went from I'm gonna kill you to
I want ice cream.
He's patting on his little hand on a truck.
Little stuff
for
like
sprinkles.
that.
He wants sprinkles with his ice cream, and it's fabulous.
The bond showed so well with that.
I do like the bond between like all of them, but you know, we'll get into that.
So for me, and this one's really cool, I like the way they did the Chaos Emeralds and the Master.
Yeah, that's a really cool lore.
The origin behind it, the way the Echidna tribe conjured it up and formed it into one, and then it splits and both the Master Emerald and the Chaos Emeralds exist. The fact that even Longclaw's tribe was like, hey, you're power hungry. Give me that. You doing too much.
Well, because if you actually look at the cutscene, there was one lone echidna, and there was like an army of like 5,000 owls.
Yeah.
And he wiped them out.
Yeah.
So the owls ambushed that guy, wiped the Master Emerald. But you know, at the same time, I gotta talk about this. Longclaw's tribe stole it. Like, they were power hungry.
They have every right to do so.
Yeah, they were power hungry, but it was still their relic. They made it. So who's really right in this scenario?
I hope they dig into that.
You can't take from people. I'm sorry, but the owls are colonizers in this case. I'm sorry, I said it.
That's mean.
For a right cause, but they colonized that Master Emerald, and that's why Knuckles was so pissed off.
Your turn.
All right, so I really like the family aspect. I know that like the entire theme of this is family coming together, having your wingmen, but I really like that because, you know, in the original games, there's really no backstory to Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles has a backstory. I shouldn't say that, but yes. Sonic and Tails, you know, Tails' backstory is kind of actually intact in the movie. You know, he was treated as a freak. He was made fun of for his two tails. You know, that's the same. But I think they took it a step further by, he was kind of stalking Sonic, but he was watching his hero. He felt
bubble bath.
He felt the power signal of Sonic from like miles away. And he was like, whoa, what was that? He goes on his computer, he watches this guy, and he's just been watching him ever since, in a sense.
Bubble bath.
Watching him take bubble baths. But here's the thing about that, because a lot of people are saying that, you know, that's a little creepy, but if you remember from the first movie, Sonic was actually stalking Donut's lord. The reason he even calls him Donut, well, people in general.
Fine, it's valid, I guess.
So this is going to be an Ashley segment because Jumbo didn't want to talk about this. He's a loser. So let's get into Stobotnik, because let's face it, girls, it's canon. Oh my god, okay, so I'm trying not to freak out here, but I'm a fangirl. I'm sorry, I'm a Yowie fangirl. Stobotnik, so Agent Stone, in the Mean Bean cafe shop, he was, first of all, drawing hearts drew Eggman's face with hearts all around it in all of the customers' coffee. Like, I mean, come on now. I mean, he did not just, you know, sunshine, sparkles. No, he drew heart. Come on, it doesn't get any more blatant than that. He's sitting there daydreaming. There's romantic music playing. Come on, and he's just, Doctor, where are you? Just dreaming of this man. And then finally, he gets this text message from Eggman. Just, he's back! You know, just screaming out into nowhere land. Kicked everybody out. Papa's got a brand new stash. Like, he may as well have said Daddy's home. That's all I heard in my fangirl brain. You know, I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. It's about time there was some representation. You know, I know that Eggman's not really in love with Stone. It's kind of one-sided. I don't care. Okay? But at the end, you know, with the Death Egg robot, you know, he's like, take me with you, Doctor. And he actually brings him along. And he made a little cockpit with him, you know, and had him on controls. And when he was handcuffed to a chair, I mean, he grabs his face and talking about he could smell the electricity. I mean, come on. They fed us so well. I really enjoy their brotherly aspect, you know, and that's something we would kind of get from the games, but not really. You know, they would feed off each other. You know, Sonic would have, you know, like he would call Knuckles Knucklehead, you know, so they'd have pet names, you know. You know, it was cute in the video games, but it didn't really get too into depth. Whereas in the movie, it's like, okay, we're family now. We're brothers. We are the Wachowskis. Awesome. You know, like, you know, Tails hugging him, I just love that. And I like Sonic and Knuckles having a heart-to-heart, and they're like, he's like, all right, you're a part of the family now. You're an orphan. I'm an orphan. You're a Wachowski now. We're all orphans. I know a sweet couple back on Earth who's accepting all these furries as our stepkids. Like, so here you go, join the family. So
it's nice to see.
I really, really like that, and I do hope that in the next film we actually get to see a part of their daily life. I want to see like Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails' bedroom. Like Sonic has a little bed. Now they're gonna put like bunk beds in there for Tails and Knuckles.
I just thought of something.
What?
Did they ever go back home?
About that
baseball.
I don't think they're gonna be too happy seeing a gigantic hole. Like in the first movie, when Eggman destroyed their house, you actually saw them repainting and fixing it. But we didn't see that, so I'm assuming that they did not go back home and see that big behind hole.
Go back home and be like, so who did this?
I would absolutely
Who did this?
I would pay top dollar to see the reaction. I really, really hope. I as much as I would love to see the Knuckles, and we're gonna get into the Knuckles series in another video, but really, really want to see that day-to-day life. I want to see them look at the hole in the wall and just, and it's just family, and they put him on timeout.
So who did this? Sonic, like,
yeah, well, it was that guy.
I love the snowboarding. That snowboarding was clutch.
Yeah, that was cool.
Jumping into Ice Cap Zone, snowboarding down Ice Cap Zone, kind of similar to Sonic 3, Sonic Adventure, and then a little bit of SA2. Like, snowboarding is Sonic's thing, and it was beautiful.
And I missed that. I really wish that they would show him. He doesn't have
a sense of urgency like that.
Well, not so much urgency, but he doesn't have a sense of style. Like, he was a skateboard kid back in the 90s in SA2 and SA1 and Sonic 3, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. But now it's like he just grinds on rails, but it's not even that he's doing cool and doing it for tricks. He just grinds on rails because it's a part of the stage. You know, he's lost that sense of identity as like a rocker, white boy, skater kid, radical, gnarly, you know, he lost that. He'll say gnarly, like Baldy McNose here. Like he has, thanks to Roger Craig Smith's performance, he talks like an 80s kid, but he doesn't act like one, you know? So I really need that sense of identity for real in the game.
That's fair.
But I do hope that they maintain that in the movies. Like, I love it. I just wanted to yell at you. I want to be louder. Okay, so this is probably going to be the heated section for a lot of you. I'm sorry. I enjoyed the human section, and only one. I enjoyed the wedding scene. I enjoyed all of it. I enjoyed the Mission Impossible with Rachel and Maddie. I loved all of it. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry. But like I like the human characters, like, you know, and it really bothers me that so many people attack the humans. And it's like, Eggman's a human. Why do you guys hate humans so much?
That's
it's
true.
not bad to have humans in Sonic. They've always been humans. You know, yes, they usually take a backseat, like in SA1, SA2, you know, they're NPCs all in the city and stuff, and, you know, they're just going about their daily lives, but they're here. Get over it. I'm sorry.
I'll say this. As long as they don't overstay their welcome, which I don't think they did.
Like, we're not asking
This was like, this movie was literally like
they were
70%
really,
Sonic.
yeah, like,
friends.
honestly, 90%. You know, like, Tom and Maddie are like his parents, so they're gonna have to have some screen time. Literally because these animals now live in their house.
Right.
You know, you're not gonna just not see Tom and Maddie. You're gonna have to get over that. And my Queen Tika deserves some screen time. I don't care what anybody says. And my Queen Rachel deserves some, because I still can't remember the actress's name. I still call her Rachel. And I still call Tika someone Candace, to be honest. But you know, I like them, and I want to see, you know, like, here's a good example. I really liked how Tom, you know, Sonic calls Tom, well, he later calls him Dad, but he calls him on his phone like, help, I need help now. Warp me out now, you know? They're kind of like the Sonic, the backup plan. Get us out of trouble card, you know? And that's probably later in the movie with the truck. But also, when Sonic's getting captured by Gunn, Tom starts swinging.
He's
like, that's my boy. That's my
really swung.
He really did. And then the guy's like, stop, don't make it any worse. And they capture him too. But he's like, you know, he's like, that's my boy. That's my son. You're not gonna just take him, you know? I'm like, yes, fucking Sonic. He's got a family. And they're his ride or die. I love it. I'm sorry, I don't care. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I can agree with that.
And Maddie too, like, you know, like, we're gonna go, like, you know, let's go get our kid. That was a later scene, but you know.
But you're not wrong.
Like, let's go get our boy.
Let's go get our boy.
That's our boy.
That's cool.
And I love it. And I like the dynamic Rachel and Maddie have. You know, they're sisters. So, and I'm sorry, I liked Rachel going after Randall. I mean, I know the movie that scene was referencing.
We both do.
That's
the black culture.
That's a part of black culture. So that's why I think that there's a disconnect.
All I'm gonna say is, do your research for that.
We probably need to put up, we need to.
Well, I'll throw something up.
But that's, you know, I get that there's a cultural disconnect, because I'm noticing that the people who appreciate that scene and the people who don't,
you'll get it. Either you get it or you don't.
Those who get it. Those who don't. Sorry, but I appreciate it. I love it.
It was cool.
Sorry.
Let's talk about how Sonic got serious. He humbled himself. Let's go to the beginning. When Sonic was with Donut Lord and he was like, you're not my dad, but Tom was giving him that man talk. He actually he wasn't trying to be the typical teenager. He actually took into account like what's going on.
Right, I agree with that.
Then we shifted into Knuckles, or rather Tails, and throughout the course of their adventures on the snowboarding, Tails gets hurt. Again, Sonic takes that into account. He's like, all right, I'm not gonna let my best friend I just met look up to me get hurt again. And then he spins off to where Knuckles and Eggman were to get the Master Emerald. Shifting into that, I love the Labyrinth Zone scene. Love it. Down to the brim.
So yeah, I just wanted to chime in on what you said. So Sonic, I really like that Sonic wasn't like a brat when he heard Tom's advice to him. Like, you know, your moment, you don't get to choose your moment. Your hero moment chooses you. And you know, that's not a direct quote, but you know, and because I was really almost like cringing at that point. I was like, oh, is he gonna be a brat? Is he gonna? And no, he wasn't. He was like, okay, Donald Lord, I hear you. I see you. You know, I'm here with you. So you know, and I appreciated that, because you know, it actually shows kids like, hey, you can actually listen to your parents. And you know, that I used to be, I would probably been against that as a kid, but now I'm like a parent now, so you know, you see
it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. And you know, when he did see Tails you know, get hurt, he's like, you know what, that was my hero moment. I should have saved Tails from getting hurt from Eggman, and I blew it. I did not, you know, and I think Sonic took that to heart because of how fast he is. He's like, I could have deflected, you know, we literally see a scene before him in slow motion deflecting missiles. So he's like, he knows I'm fast enough, I could have caught those missiles.
Yeah,
if he wasn't
now that I
distracted.
think about it, you cocky little punk.
If he wasn't distracted by Knuckles, he probably would have.
Yeah, that's true.
But he was
that's true.
being distracted.
He was
by
occupied.
Knuckles. Yeah, so. But he takes that to heart because he's like, this. I brought this little kid along. Because even Tails, you know, originally said, wait, you want? I'm just a messenger. I'm not a field guy. I don't go out and adventure. This, bro. And Sonic kind of brought him along. So he's like, I'm responsible for this kid. He's like 8 years old. He's looking up to me as his big bro. You know, and he got hurt, so, you know, he felt some kind of way. I also wanted to, I know we're kind of jumped to the labyrinth scene, but I did want to talk about him saying, gotta go fast. I like that. Good. I like that scene because I just love how fast he was and the power and electricity. I'm like, whoa! I'm sorry, so I geeked out, but I just loved it. He's like, gotta go fast.
Nah, it was a very good moment. Him walking around that water. Absolutely. Yeah. And to chime in on that, fun little fact about that, Sonic has never said gotta go fast. Ever. In a game, in
not
anything.
Even in Sonic X.
The
theme song was gotta go fast.
There you go.
But he never said it himself, so that was...
a nice little add-on there.
Yeah, nice nod to Sonic X's theme song. Yeah.
Very good.
Now to cut back into the labyrinth and the temple. Hidden Palace / Labyrinth Zone. I think it's combined.
It was like a combination because those traps, between the traps and no, I'll retract that. I can't call it Hidden Palace Zone because we don't have a floating island yet.
Well, that's true. It's just that Hidden Palace was, you know, the palace hidden to house the Master Emerald. So, you know, the lore's kind of changed there. It's not,
and that's fine.
And I don't even think there is an Angel Island. I think it's just an angel planet.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see where they go
with that.
But going back to that specific moment between Labyrinth Zone and the betrayal for Knuckles, and then the fight.
Well, the fight happens before the betrayal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can have the fight.
Oh boy. No, wait. Are you sure?
No, have the betrayal, because that made me cry.
Fine. So, well, technically, we see a little bit of the betrayal before because Eggman, you know, they're approaching it, and Eggman pulls out a taser. He's like, "Well, I'm so sorry, but it looks like our partnership must come to an end." And then Sonic falls in literally through the floor. But
jumping into the fight.
Go on, jump into the fight.
That fight was glorious. They didn't waste any time. He literally said, "You have to go through me," and Knuckles answered quickly.
Like like in the trailer, like, you know, they show their faces touching and like, okay, what's gonna happen? And literally in the movie, after their faces touch,
they just start swinging. They just start swinging.
That was crazy. Like, you know, I was not anticipating that much like this fight.
I kind of wanted to let them fight a little more.
I know, but because it's a kids film, you know, they gotta wind and dial it back,
right? Because
otherwise they gotta bump it to at least, you know, like 13, ages 10 and up or ages 13
or something,
you know. So
but going back into that, Sonic was talking trash and Knuckles was answering with a fist.
He sure
every time, from the first time they saw each other to the end. Knuckles had Sonic on the rope a few times.
He really did. I like that their dynamic of him being the speed and him being the power are balanced. Like, you know, there's times where Sonic kind of runs circles around Knuckles, but
give one,
like in
Knuckles
the fight, like in the in the temple fight, you know, we see Sonic like spin dash and like, you know,
gave him
up to the top, and he literally came crashing down on his chest. Like, yeah, he was using like a bounce. And that was pretty vile, but then, you know, Knuckles was throwing like a fist of fury at Sonic, and Sonic was dodging it for the most part, but then Sonic, you know, Knuckles got that one good hit in, and, you know, knocked him flying back, like flying. But then, oh, I gotta talk about the waterfall scene because I know, it's a split second, but I just love how he gets knocked
when
into
he
the
was
waterfall.
pissed. He was pissed.
And he was pissed. Like, you can see his glowing eyes back there. I'm like, I was like, what?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I got a little chill from that one.
That was a chill. Because it was reminiscent of, like, when Sonic was reflecting in Eggman's shield
From
in,
the
like,
first
the first
movie.
movie.
Yep.
At the end. And I just love that reflective. I like that.
Animosity.
They could keep bringing that back. I don't care. Spoil me.
I love the portrayal, but I hate the portrayal. Because your boy Knuckles.
He was so hurt, my baby.
But you're my... The way he did it, you're my
I
friend.
trusted you. You were my friend.
Like, damn, bro.
But here's the thing about that I do want to also talk about, because some people are using that as the reason why Knuckles is stupid. And it's like, we, the audience, know that Knuckles was betrayed, but honestly, he had no reason to even suspect Eggman. And the reason why is because in the beginning,
He gave him stairs.
not just stairs, but in the even when they very first met, he was like, I see that blue quill. Where did you get that from? How did you come about that? And he's like, I'll show you the way. I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there. So upon, leading Knuckles to Sonic and then offering him stairs, offering him an alliance, and not betraying him up to that point, Knuckles had no reason to suspect Eggman. He's like, we were working together, You took me to your goat milker shack. We're friends. So honestly, it's naivety, naiveness. I don't know. I'm making it up as I go. Knuckles was being naive, but he had reason to trust Eggman, and but it was so sad because he wanted a friend after spending all that time isolated, and it just hurt my heart.
Yeah, it was.
But
It was deep.
short-lived because in the next scene he makes up with Sonic and they become brothers, literally there, then and there. So,
Literally throwing sand at each other.
yeah, they threw sand.
Literally throwing sand at each other.
Well, Knuckles initially thought he was attacking him, like genuinely attacking him. It is so precious. But Sonic was just playfully throwing sand at him, so he
that
threw a
was
whole
cool.
lump at him and drowned him in sand.
I love the bubble. Just because just
yeah,
had to
the bubble
backtrack. I love the bubble. That was
I
the go.
like that
The only
reference.
thing you literally had to do, you could have did it. You could have did it. Just put the music. All right, your turn.
Oh, it is my turn. Crap.
I'm giving you an extra point.
All right, so I love Sonic. Well, I already talked about how I liked the Sonic family dynamic, so obviously I'm gonna like the Sonic Heroes moment.
I was
the
about to say.
Team Sonic Heroes moment, because it really just brings their brotherliness together. It's a nice bonding moment between them, and it really shows how they play off each other when they're fighting, which I'm sure will be brought up in the next film. Knuckles, the precious cinnamon, how he's talking about being the groin, like, we gotta attack the groin. Let's go after the groin. Being a boy, I guess he really thinks that's the weak spot. He's like, no, Knuckles. It's a robot, Knuckles. It has no groin, Knuckles. Stop saying groin. I'm sorry, I thought it was funny, You might think it was a bit childish, but I thought it was funny. But yeah, the boys are, Tails is using his electronics to go pew 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 the robots, and Knuckles using his fist to punch, and you can see the power in it as he combats the robot hand, and Sonic's a distraction.
Exactly. So everybody's playing their role.
And I really enjoyed that. So nice.
Fast forward, I love the fact that Knuckles did exactly what he did in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. He punched the emerald out of Eggman. That was clutch. Exactly how they did it in Sonic 3.
Out of Sonic.
Out of Sonic. That was...
I do like it because it's also it also shows just how strong he is. It doesn't matter if you're a chaos infused being. Knuckles is strong enough to knock them chaos emeralds right out of you. And I do like that they kept that. That just shows how strong he is. And that's my boy. Okay.
And then finally, before it's all said and done, the final family moment. They're saying, I love you. I love you too, Sonic. Tom and Maddie, together, saving their little boy. And the bad part, when the Master Emerald crumbled.
Yeah, crumbled in his hands. He was like, "This was my only hope."
That was crazy.
That honestly made the intense. Like, but you know, we saw the Chaos Emerald fall out.
Like we knew he was gonna use it, but in that moment, it was just like, oh.
Because of how desperate he was. It's like he's like, no, oh my God, no! Like he was panicking. Like, you know, I don't think we've ever seen him panic like that except when he was drowning.
Like, expression-wise, Sonic was clutch with all of his expressions. The way he was angry, the way he was just talking trash, the way that he was in desperation. And then finally, Super Sonic he explodes with power. That was a beautiful scene down to the brim. Like, this man literally
lifts up the robot with
lifts him up. He looks at he decapitates the robot, looks at Eggman with just an angry stared look down like, you're done. We need to stop this.
It's over.
Now. And then, to make it worse, Eggman over here trying to be all buddy and then swing on Super Sonic.
He tried to do a sucker punch.
Yes. And then Sonic is just like, I said we're done.
He just hand up, stop that without even looking. He kept, what was crazy was that he just kept his gaze like, I see you. We're looking eye to eye, but I know what you're doing over here. Just hand up, like, oh, okay. Wow.
That's the type of Super Sonic I need in my life.
Bad.
Badass.
He was bad.
Badass. Super Sonic finally destroys the Death Egg. Knuckles comes in. They're about to do their hug, and then Knuckles chimes in, and he's like, "Don't touch him. He's not the Sonic you once knew." I think they were paying homage to UK Sonic, Super Sonic. Fleetway.
Because I think the idea is that when somebody has
that much power
of the Chaos Emeralds, they lose their mind. And actually, we kind of see this with Eggman, but that was when he had the power of the Chaos Emeralds, which were inside the Master Emerald. So he just had all of them together combined. That power, he was like, I can smell the electricity in your brain. He was kind of cuckoo. So I'm curious, but we're gonna save that for a future discussion. That's gonna be fun to talk about.
Okay.
So the final bit of this film that I really, really loved was actually the ending scene. I really, really liked, as I already mentioned before, I love the family aspect. So seeing the Wachowskis play baseball together, with Tails and Knuckles being their, I guess, newly adopted sons, I just loved it. I loved it. This is also the part where not only we get to see Knuckles adorably fail at baseball, this is also where we get to see him just like, what's dessert? Like, what's ice cream? And he's like, does it have grapes in it? And then he freaks out for sprinkles. Like, he has no idea what sprinkles are, but he wants the sprinkles. And it's just so cute. And I crave those family moments. And I honestly just want a TV series of just them, just their family moments together. That's all I want. Just their day-to-day lives. Bring it to me, Jeff Fowler, please.
And scene. That's it. So now shifting into some of the dislikes, and trust and believe there are not that many.
Or they're nitpicks.
If anything, they're gonna be nitpicks. I'll say the first one for me was Sonic's confrontation with Knuckles. I personally think he should have been triggered. As soon as he saw Knuckles, the echidna, the locks, there should have been a trigger moment that said, your people, something of that shape or form should have been like, I need to stop you. You're a problem. You're the one that killed Longclaw or something like that. And he should have been like, I'm going to end your career.
Right. I do but also agree with that. That was a complete missed opportunity. And I think that would have really riled up the rivalry, and not even rivalry, but the two were like enemies. I think that would have really upped the ante on that. But I think that their logic was that Sonic was like a child when it happened, and the echidnas had masks. So I think that was what they were going for. Like, he just doesn't really remember. It was hazy in the back of his mind. Like, he knows that they were, like, you know, tribes people who hated him, but he didn't really know that they were echidnas. Maybe that's what they were going for. But still, I think that, you know, in writing, they could have just wrote in that he remembered. You know, that was the worst day of his life. He remembered Long Call dying.
Yeah.
He remembers all of that. So he should still remember, like, these guys are my enemy, you know? So I do completely agree with you that they could have just written it in, like, that he remembered, you know? That's the way story goes. You just write it, and then there it shall be. I also want to get into a dislike. So, remember when we were talking about the human scenes? So I liked the one with Rachel Maddie. I did not like the Russian bar scene.
It dragged.
I don't want to say I don't like it. There are aspects of I liked. I didn't care for the Russian dancing. You know, it's like, you know, it's kind of like, I think that there was too much of a spotlight on the humans in the first place. Like, we didn't need to see them dancing with a spotlight on them. Like, we don't care about this. It did drag on too much. I think that whole scene could have been whittled down to just Sonic and Tails being greeted, and just eating their beef stew or whatever, and then just having a conversation and getting to know each other.
Yes. Or if y'all did the exact same bar scene from the first movie, you could have kept that into this one. That could have been a whole fight scene in itself. They could have knocked everybody out, and then they could have slept.
Yeah, for real. So, and I don't think we need to be stereotypical of Russian. You know, we don't need to be stereotypical of Russians, like they're all mean and evil, you know? Come on, that's American propaganda. We don't have to do that. I actually would have been more impressed if they walked in and the scene still plays where, you know, there's a fish head telling them to run and everybody looks scary, and then they're like really nice. That would have been better. And then they just give them the beef stew, and then those two talk. The end. That's all that needed to be.
So as far as I'm concerned, I don't have any more. It was just that specific one.
So I have two more dislikes left for the film. One of them is actually with the trailer cutscenes versus the movie cutscenes. There were some changes made to the trailer cutscenes, and I guess there may have been some final edits made that they just couldn't remove from the trailers as they were pushed months ago. But I actually, like, for example, the Knuckles scene where, you know, he's like, do I look like I need your power? And he's holding Sonic in the spin dash form and slams him onto the ground. I actually prefer the trailer version to the movie version, which, you know, where Knuckles is just walking, holding Sonic, and he's silent the entire time. Like, I actually preferred the trailer scene to the movie scene. So I guess they made a last minute change, and the last minute change to me just didn't work. It felt very awkward. Because he wasn't saying anything. He's looking dead at him, but he's not saying anything. You know, it created an awkward scene. You know, the trailer was way better.
I can agree with that. There were some moments where it was like, okay, the trailer, but they were fine.
Yeah.
But it's just that one specific.
That one was the main one. There were some others that were a little different.
But it was just like, oh, okay, that's how it's explained. But
yeah,
it was cool.
Yeah. So the final complaint that I kind of have isn't real. So I want to say it's not towards Idris Elba himself. It's to the voice direction, which there is an actual voice director and voice coach. So I don't necessarily like I will say I don't like how heavy the accent is, and I don't like the type of accent because to me it sounds like it's made up. Knuckles is canon supposed to be Jamaican, like that's per the classics. Now, obviously they kind of retcon that, but if you're gonna give him like an accent, you know, you could either choose Jamaican, you could, like, Idris Elba himself, although he's British, he is African. You could choose an African accent. Knuckles has Mayan ancestors. You could choose like the Afro, and I would say an indigenous accent. Like, there's so many cultural aspects that you could have used here, and instead they just made something up. Now, maybe they made something up so they didn't offend anybody, but I don't think anybody would have been offended if you had just picked a Jamaican voice actor. I mean, you know, if you either give him an accent or you don't at all. At the very least, I think they should have just given him a regular American accent. Like, you know, because to me the accent is a little too heavy, and you can kind of tell it's a little too forced. Like, Idris Elba is, again, British. You know, he doesn't really, he has a proper British accent. You know, this tribal accent is just too heavy, and it's sometimes hard to hear what Knuckles is saying.
So the final piece would be the future of this series and Sonic Movie 3. Of course, the fact that we saw Shadow in the situation, bruh. I was not expecting that.
Shadow looked good. I wasn't sure what they're gonna do with his bent spikes, but he actually looks pretty good.
He looked like Boom Knuckles just in his torso, in his.
I can see that.
But as far as his quills, they're shorter. They look shorter. That's just me.
Maybe, but I think it may have been the angle because he was kind of propped up in the capsule. So once he's actually out and he's walking about, then we may be able to see like what he actually looks like because he was kind of propped up. His hair was like his quills were back.
I personally was like, oh, they're skipping because they literally told us before the movie was even starting. They said they were not going to go chronological order.
You okay, baby?
That was so cute. That needs to stay in.
Yeah. But yeah, they said they weren't gonna go chronological order, so that gave the hint of where they were going to do next. I just wasn't expecting it to be Shadow. I was expecting Metal Sonic. Just being straight up.
I'm kind of sad because I love Chaos. But if you actually think about Chaos, that story was really short. The reason it was long was because there was 6 perspectives. Big, Amy, and Gamma aren't even in these films, so that kind of cut Sonic Adventure 1 in half. So, and Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, all 3 of them act like a unit now, so it's just you can almost count them as one person. You know, Team Sonic against Chaos. So,
if they do that, who knows? You never know. They might shift it into a Knuckles series since it pertains specifically to Knuckles' tribe.
And they do mention in the film that, you know, Knuckles' tribe, the tribe just gets wiped out in the battle against Longclaw. Now that was 1 hour against an entire tribe. I just don't think that Longclaw's the one who killed them. I think Chaos may have came in and diffused that situation permanently, if you know what I mean.
We'll speculate that and see where it goes, because we have a series and we have 3. So we have stuff to look forward to.
And talk about.
It's just, where are they going to go with it? Also,
we have some theories, and I think that'll be a future discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, as always, it's a pleasure. Let us know what you think overall of this movie, because I'll give it a B+.
B+?
That's B+.
I give it an A. I give it a straight A. Like an A+ to me is like 100, but you know, so I'm not gonna give it 100 because there were some things I disliked.
Okay.
But I'm giving it an A.
Okay.
Solid A.
Okay, that's fair.
I will definitely be rewatching this as soon as it's out, either on streaming or on Blu-ray.
As always, it's a pleasure. Like, comment, let us know what you think. This is Chumba,
Ashley, and Anthony.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's go. CHUMCONE. That's where it's at. Awesome gameplay, awesome reviews, and that's a fact. CHUMCONE. Get in the zone. Entertainment on your PC.